Right, I think we are live, as always, with these live streams. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me. If you can, then all is good, and welcome to a solo playthrough of Barcelona. Barcelona is the latest game that's coming out from Board and Dice. It's coming out very soon. I believe they're going to be releasing it at Gen Con. I don't quite know exactly when it's going to be available in retail, but I know that they've taken pre-orders for people who want to pick it up at Gen Con. This is a sponsored video. Board and Dice have commissioned me to create this video tonight, and I'm going to be doing a solo playthrough of the game tonight. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be teaching you the rules of the game for the solo game, but I will be referring to the multiplayer rules as well. So if you're interested in learning how to play the game, but probably will not play it solo, then that's fine. You can still watch this video because I will be explaining how all of that works. Other than that, Rasmus's video is blurry. Hopefully everybody else's is okay. Yeah, it looks okay for me. It's probably defaulted to 360p. Just change it to 1080p and you should be fine. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining me. If you're watching this live, great. Keep an eye on... I will be keeping an eye on the chat in case I make any mistakes. Hopefully I won't. Hopefully I won't. The designer's in the chat tonight. Thank you very much, Danny. And I actually played a practice solo game this afternoon, and Danny was there this afternoon with me, helping me learn the game. So I'm fairly confident I know how to play. So Barcelona, the theme of this game is actually quite interesting because I like it when board games tell me a little bit about history that I didn't know. And it turns out that in the 19th century, Barcelona was the most overpopulated city in Europe at one point. And it was all bad. Disease was rife and the conditions were very, very poor. And then basically there's this guy who we're going to call Serda. And he's considered the inventor of urbanism. And he presented a plan to rebuild the city, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to be rebuilding the city to sort out the population problem. I've just realised there's some pieces on the board that I didn't take off from my earlier playthrough. So we'll get rid of those. I am going to be going through the setup on how it works, just so you've got... I don't want to just dive in and explain how we're playing it without going through the setup. So let's cover what we've done in setup. First of all, we have the main board, which is on the table here, and there are 11 different action tiles in the game. Now, the first time you play it, you won't use these action tiles. These are action tiles. You can just use the pre-printed ones. So the 11 different actions in the game are printed on the board, but for added variability, which is what I'm using today, you shuffle up the action tiles and you just place them out at random. So it's exactly the same 11 actions. They're just in different places. What we also have on the left hand side here is we have a 5 victory point tile. So this is the icon for victory points, and that is awarded to the first player who builds in that column. So it's a one-off bonus. The first player to build a building in that column flips the tile over and gets the 5 points. That's what's there. Over on the right hand side we have the Serda track. So this is this famous person, and everybody is going to start off on this space here. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be gaining favour with Serda, which moves up, and is going to give you multipliers, which is going to increase your points. Or if you do certain actions, you can actually gain disfavour with him and move down. Down at the bottom of the main board is we have the citizen track. And you will notice that there are actually some citizen tiles already placed on the track. That is because we're playing the solo game, but the solo game is set up for a 2-player game. So if you notice, that's got the little 2-player icon. So in a 2-player game, you cover that over with the tile. That space is covered over in a 2- or 3-player game. So you will take citizen tiles from the bag and you will populate these spaces here. The game is effectively divided into 3 stages. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing citizens on these tracks. And as soon as any one citizen is placed on one of those spaces, that triggers the first scoring round. And this is the scoring tile for the first scoring round. Then what happens is we do a bit of stuff here. And then we go into the next stage, and whenever any piece gets placed on one of those spaces, we trigger that scoring tile. Same here, when a piece gets placed on one of those spaces, we trigger that scoring tile, and that's the last round of the game. Yeah, so that's roughly how that works. Now, speaking of these scoring tiles, the game comes with, is it 14 of them? 14 of them. And what you do at the start of the game is you shuffle those 14 tiles and you pick 3 at random. And your games are going to be different each time you play because of these scoring tiles. And when you're first playing the game, there's a lot of different actions that you need to learn. But the main thing is you need to look at these scoring tiles because that's where you're going to be getting quite a few points from. And even though I've not explained the different actions yet, I'm just going to cover what these scoring tiles are. So this scoring tile here is going to give points for narrow streets that you have constructed in the city. There are two types of streets. There's narrow ones and there's wide ones. And this scoring tile is 1 point for every street that you have constructed, multiplied by how far you are up the Serta track. This next one is for passengers that you have placed on the board. So one of the things that you can do in the game is you can send your little tram, send your tram around the streets, drop off passengers to get various bonuses. And this is going to give you 2 points for each passenger that you've dropped off. And finally, the last one is these objectives. I call them objective tiles. They're actually called modernism tiles or something. But it's basically modernism tiles. And they are here. We have 4 of them available on this sideboard here. And we can take them and we can put them onto our board here. They are setting our own end game scoring conditions for us at the end of the game. And that is 2 points for every one of those that we've taken. Now, while we're talking about these Serta scoring tiles, I also wanted to talk about these objectives because there's a big pile of objectives here. We have 4 face up, and every time one gets taken, we replenish it. And every time we end a stage, we wipe those and we get 4 new ones. But what I wanted to mention to you is I've taken 3 of those tiles out. Now, I didn't do this in the game last night. I actually got this wrong in the game that I played last night. So if anybody's watching this video who played with me last night, apologies for this. I forgot to take out these tiles. So a lot of the iconography on these tiles is exactly the same as these scoring tiles. And what you do is you take out any of these tiles which match these tiles. So if we just look back again, we have here a scoring tile that gives us points for narrow streets. What that means is we take out the corresponding one of these out of the game. That cannot be in the game as long as that's in the game. Same with this one, we're going to take out that one. And the same with that one, we're going to take out that one. So those 3 tiles are gone. They are not going to be in our game. Right, let's have another look at the sideboard over here, which I think is this button. Yes, it's this button. So on this sideboard here, you will notice we have stacks of these buildings. There are 7 different public sector buildings in this game. We've picked 5 of them at random. And then within each one of those, there is a stack of tiles, which starts off with the most expensive one on top. You can see the cost in the top right, -3, then the -2. If we were playing a 3 or 4 player game, there would be another tile underneath as well, which would cost 1 gold. So those go there. They all give us abilities when we build them. We also have here the sidewalk, where we're going to be placing cobblestone tiles to get bonuses. We'll talk about that in more detail later on. Let's now talk about the player board setup. So here's my player board. And everybody's player board will be set up in a very similar way. What you have is you have, down at the bottom, you have space for 4 goods. And you actually start the game with 1 gold and 1 cloth. You've only got room for 4 things in here. And just bear with us a minute. I'm just going to move that down a little bit because the camera was picking up the microphone. Right. So you've only got space for 4 things. But what you can do, one of the actions in the game that you can do is you can remove these cobblestone tiles. And by doing that, you are giving yourself more space to store goods. And also notice these numbers with the red icon. So the red icon is end of game scoring points. So the more of these cobblestone tiles you remove, the more points you're going to get at the end of the game, but also the more storage you have. Now you might notice down in the bottom left it says 2 to 4, and you might think, well, wait a minute, Paul's using the wrong side of the board, because isn't he playing the solo game? Yes, he's playing the solo game, but you only use the other side of the board, which is the 1 player side, for the dummy player. So even if I'm playing, because I'm setting up effectively for a 2-player game, so I'm using the normal side of the board. What we have here is we have the streets, we have narrow streets and we have wide streets. And these are divided into 2 stacks. We have 4 narrow streets in this stack and we have 6 of them in this stack. That's important because you always take from left to right. And there's a bonus when you deplete a stack. We have the intersections here. You must take these from left to right. They have a cost above them. We'll explain how that works later on as well. And down at the bottom, we have these discs. So every time we build a building, we're going to place one of our discs from left to right onto the board. There's 2 in this stack, 2 in here, 2 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here. And when you deplete a stack, there's a nice juicy bonus. I will mention this now, just in case I forget later on. But even when you run out of discs, which you likely will do in a 2-player game, you can still build. You just don't get to put a disc on the board. Next up, we have our tram, which starts off here. And these are the passengers that we can place into the city as the game goes on. We always place these from left to right. Above that, we have space for our 5 objective tiles. Now, unlike the other ones, unlike everything else on the board, these do not have to be taken from left to right. So whenever you gain an objective, for example, I decide I'm going to take this one, I can choose where I want to put it. And you might think, well, why don't I put it here? Because this is a free space. Whereas here, it's going to cost me 1 gold and 2 cloth just to place it on there. Well, that's because at the end of the game, these are red points, which means it's end of the game points. You're going to get points depending on the tile and depending on the multiplier. So if I place the tile here, straight away that is worth times 2 points at the end of the game. If I manage to move that cube to there, it's actually worth times 4 at the end of the game. So yeah, so whenever you gain one of these objectives, you can choose where it goes. Finally, at the top of the board, we have 4 slots. This is where we are going to be placing our Sagrada Familiar cards or tiles whenever we get them. So we're going to move this disc across, and whenever we move this disc across one of the gaps, that's when we choose one of the tiles and we put it in there and we get the bonus on the tile. That's my player board, and that's a quick whistle-stop tour of everything that's going on. Now we're going to look at Gaudi's player board. So Gaudi is the other player, and this is why we're using the one-player side. And it looks very similar, but you will notice that there is no space for storing goods. So Gaudi never pays gold or cloth to do anything because he's a big cheater. He doesn't need to store it. He can't gain it. He can't spend it. Everything that he does is always free. But anytime he would gain cloth or gold, he instead gets one of these Gaudi rewards. Now, a Gaudi reward is immediately exchanged for either 2, 3 or 4 points, depending on what difficulty level you're going to play. I'm going to be playing on the hard difficulty mode today. That's because I played on normal this afternoon, and I actually won the game quite easily. So I'm going to be playing on the hard difficulty today, and that means every time Gaudi gains one of these rewards, he's going to get 4 points. He's got the streets as normal. He's got the intersections as normal. He's got the passengers, but there's no cost for him to place the passengers. He's got the objectives. Now, he's already got La Sagrada Familiar tiles in there, and they are all worth points. So he hasn't taken random ones. He's specifically taken the ones that are only worth points. They are fixed tiles that he has, and whenever his disc moves from there to there, he's going to gain the points printed on it. When his disc moves from there to there, he's going to gain the points printed on that, etc., etc. There is a medium difficulty. It's 2, 3 or 4. So 2 is easy, 3 is normal, 4 is hard. And we're also going to be playing with an extra hard variant as well, which is whenever Gaudi would move his disc from here further, normally there's no bonus for that. But we're going to play today, and this is a variant that you can use in the rulebook, that whenever he would gain a movement on this Basilica track, and he's already at the end, he's actually going to gain 4 points instead. So that's a variant we're going to use today. I think that's most of the setup done, sort of. Over here we have La Sagrada Familiar tiles. There's 4 of them for each level, and in a 3 or 4 player game, you will use all of them. But in fact, I think in a 2-player game as well, you use all of them. Danny will correct me if I'm wrong. But in a solo game, Gaudi has already got the fixed ones. You then remove another one at random. So there's only 2 of each. And that's for me to choose from. So I've shuffled them and I've taken 2 of each. For those people who watched the playthrough this afternoon, I did a Patreon-only playthrough this afternoon where I was learning the game. I have got new scoring tiles and I've changed the order of those. I haven't changed the public services building. Gaudi has a couple of modernism cubes already on improved spaces. Well spotted. Thank you very much. That's just a hangover from this afternoon. Okay, so right, on a 2-player game, you do have all 4 of each level available. It's only in the solo game where you put the fixed ones up there and then you remove another one at random. Right. Finally, for the solo game, we have the solo deck of cards, which we'll come on to later on. Right, that's the setup done. And I wanted to do that just to give you an idea of the variability in the game and a bit of an overview of what everything is. So, let's talk about what you do on your turn. What happens in the game is you pick a start player at random. In the solo game, it is you, the human player. And then that player takes a turn and you keep going round and round and round until the end of the game happens. And then you finish that round. There is a start player marker. This never changes. So somebody will have the start player marker, which is me. But the scoring, when the scoring happens, that doesn't happen at the end of the round. So for example, if I am the first player in the game, and after we've all had a few turns, on my next turn, if I place a citizen on one of these spaces,
that scoring happens immediately. The only time you finish the round as such is at the end of the game. That when the end of the game is triggered. So what you do on your turn, first of all, you will draw before the game starts 2 citizen tiles from the bag. So we have a bag of citizen tiles. There is an equal mix of blue, red and green. The blue citizens represent high class, upper class citizens. The red ones are middle class citizens and the green ones are lower class citizens. And everybody will draw 2 tiles at the start of the game. Now you keep these secret. Obviously, we're playing a solo game today, so there's no secrets here. So I'm just going to put them face up below my board. I've drawn a red and a green one, but normally you would keep these secret from the other players because it can be important if you see what somebody else has got. So what you do on your turn, there are a few steps. The first thing you do is you stack your 2 citizens, one on top of the other, in any order you want to. And then once you've done that, you choose one of the intersections on the board. So these are the intersections. There's 25 of them in the game. You choose any one intersection that doesn't already have citizens on it. Let's say I go here. And then what you do is you perform the action at the top of that column and the action on the right of that row. And you can do that in any order. So in this case, I could do that action and then that action, or I could do that action and then that action. After you've done all of your actions, you then check the board to see if you can build a building. And if you can build a building anywhere on the board, you must build a building. Now, generally speaking, you want to, but you have to build a building if you can. We'll come on to building in a bit more later on. There's a few other things that I wanted to mention about placement. You'll notice that everything on this main diagonal street here has a -1 cost. This meeple, by the way, is used in the solo game. You don't use that in the multiplayer game. So if I was to go here, I would actually have to spend 1 gold to go there. So why is it good? Because gold is really valuable. It's because I get to do this action, I get to do this action, and I also get to do this action. So there is the 11th action, the fabled 11th action, which remember is random every time you play. In the normal base setup, it is the tram action. But in our game, it is the claiming one of those modernism tiles. And you get to do that as well. So you effectively get to do 3 actions, and you can do those actions in any order you want to. So yeah, the spaces on the diagonal are more valuable because you get to do extra actions, but they do cost money. The board is going to evolve over the course of the game. We're going to have streets added to it. We're going to have intersections added to it. We're going to add buildings. You will see all that over the course of the game. But generally speaking, you place your citizens on the board, you do the actions, you then check to see if you can build, and if you can build, you must, and then you draw 2 new tiles out of the bag, and that is the end of your turn. You then check the scoring, if any piece was placed here. If it was, you score the tile, and then play carries on to the next player's turn. You good so far? All clear? I'm going to start playing. I will explain the actions as we do them. Now, just before we do, I am going to say a big thank you to Board and Dice for sponsoring this video. Thank you very much. A big thank you to Danny for all of your support over the last couple of days. Danny has been with me for the last 48 hours, basically. I've been practicing this game and he's been helping me with that. But I also wanted to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters that fund the channel. Without the Patreon support, there is no channel, so a big thank you to you. And if you like the content that I create and you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/gaming rules. And as a Patreon supporter, you get exclusive access to lots of behind-the-scenes videos, like Paul learns how to play Barcelona. Right, so I'm going to look and I'm going to say there is an objective here for scoring streets. That gives me a short-term objective, but I don't need to do that. I could say I'm going to ignore that first objective. I'm actually going to go for the second one because I'm not going to be able to do this very much before the first scoring happens, whereas this one, and certainly this one, I may be able to do them a lot more. But let's say I'm short-sighted and I'm going to say, right, there are points for building streets. So let's have a look at how we build streets. Building streets, 2 narrow streets is this action. So where do we want to go? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. We could grab some money, but I'm probably going to get some money for building the streets. So, it's a shame that the intersection's there. Yeah, it's really interesting the way that these actions get laid out. This is already a very different game from the one that I played this afternoon. I'm going to go Okay, well, I could do that. I could go with a crazy start and build a public services building straight away, although that's going to make me a bit short on money. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. So I'm going to place my 2 citizens there, and what that means is I get to do this action, and I get to do this action. Now, I'm going to explain this action first, because what this action is, this is upgrading one of my objectives. So if we just look at my player board, I mentioned that we have these 5 cubes which indicate the multiplier on how many points they are worth. And the action that I've just chosen allows me to basically move one of those cubes up to the higher space. But notice the cost. This is going to cost me 1 cloth. This is free. That's going to cost me 2 cloth. That's going to cost me 1 cloth. That's going to cost me 2 cloth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be cheap and I'm going to move this one up. I have got a cloth if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to move that one up to there. So what that means is at the end of the game, whichever objective I have in this space is actually worth ×2 instead of ×1. That's it. That's that first action done. The next action I'm going to do is this one, which is to place 2 streets. So you always take streets from the left-hand stack first. Now I can place these absolutely anywhere. I don't have to place them near where I placed my citizens or anything else. I've got complete freedom of where I place them, and I could place them together if I wanted to, or I could separate them. Now you'll notice on the board that there are certain bonuses. Oh, also wide streets. This is a wide street, this is a wide street, and this is a wide street. If you look carefully, they're 3 lanes wide. 3? 4. 4 lanes wide. Whereas if you look at the narrow streets are only 2 lanes wide. So I'm going to be placing 2 of these, and some of them have bonuses. We have a coin there, we have a cloth, we have some points as well. We have 3 points and we have 3 points. But there are benefits to placing them adjacent to one another, which you're going to see now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place... Now, I should be looking at those objectives as well. Okay. Let's place one here. So I've covered up a gold, which means I immediately gain 1 gold. I'm going to put a gold and put it on my player board. Now, the first narrow street that you place in a particular column or row is worth 1 point. So I gain 1 point for that, which I'll add on in a minute. But I'm going to place my second one here. Now, although there's no immediate bonus for placing it there, by placing a second street that's connected to the first one in the same column, that is worth 1 point plus another 1 point for this. So this one was worth 1 point. This one was actually worth 2 points. And if I was to put one here, that would be worth 3 points. And then one here would be worth 4 points. And that's whoever places it. So if Gaudi comes along and goes here, he's going to get 3 points for placing there. But anyway, I've just gained 3 points for that. 1, 2, 3. That is my 2 streets. That is my upgrading. That's my actions done. Now we come to building. The first player cannot build. And I will explain why very soon. But basically you need at least 2 stacks of citizens surrounding a particular block, which I don't have. So that is the end of my turn, and I draw 2 new tiles. There we go. Right, now we go to Gaudi's turn. So on Gaudi's turn, Gaudi doesn't have the tiles yet. We're going to draw 2 tiles for Gaudi. And we've drawn a red and a blue. So Gaudi always stacks them with the higher class on top. So it's going to be blue followed by red. Then what we do is we are going to draw one of Gaudi's cards. So we have a solo deck of cards. There are 8 cards there which have been shuffled. And you'll notice there's some information on the back of those cards. What we're going to do is we're going to flip one over and we're going to put it there. So what that is telling us is this is the action that Gaudi wants to do, or this is the action that Gaudi is going to do. But first, we need to move Gaudi's meeple. So Gaudi's meeple is basically where he's going to move around to, and it's a lot of the actions that he's going to do are going to be related to where the meeple is. And the first thing we need to do is we need to determine where it's going to move, and it will always move, and it will always move to one of these 8 adjacent spaces if we can find a good one. In the rare case that there isn't a good one within these 8 spaces, he will then go further afield. So there are 3 tiebreakers that we need to decide to determine where he's going to go. First of all, if he has any intersections as a legal space, he will always go to one of his intersections first. That is because you get bonuses when you go on an intersection. So if he's got one of his intersections on the board, not one of mine, one of his, he will absolutely prioritize that. So for example, if that intersection was there, there is no choice whatsoever, he goes there. Because there is no intersection on the board, then we basically go to the second tiebreak. The second tiebreaker is, where can he go where he's going to deposit these two citizens, which will allow him to build a building? And I think there are two spaces. There's this one here, and there's this one here. Because if he was to go here, then he can build a building here. Or if he was to go here, he can build a building here. But if he was to go anywhere else, he would not be able to build a building. Remember, to build a building, you need to have at least 2 stacks surrounding a block. So it's either here or here. These are the only 2 legal placements. And the way that we determine which one he goes to is it's the back of the other card. Now we've got an arrow pointing to the bottom right, so he will go that way first, and then it's always clockwise from there. So if we have a look from where he is, he goes here first. Is that a legal placement? No. So we go clockwise all the way around, and we get to there, and that's where he's going to go. So that is the place where his meeple is going to move to, and that is where the citizens are going to go. Then you might think he's going to perform that action and that action, but he doesn't. He actually only performs the action on the card. He doesn't perform the actions from the column and the row. He only performs what's printed on the card. And we might not see all of them in this playthrough, but I will explain the ones that we do see, and that one is placing a cobblestone tile. So he takes his leftmost cobblestone, and he's going to place it somewhere on this board here. Let me just zoom in on this board here. Now, the normal rules for human players are you've got to place them orthogonally adjacent to an existing cobblestone. So the first tile can only be placed here, 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 or here. And in fact, that's the rule that Gowdy has to follow as well. But if you look on his card, he has this priority system. So he's going to go through this priority system. First of all, can he go somewhere which will get him a move up the basilica track? No. Can he go somewhere that will take him an objective tile? No. Can he go somewhere to improve an objective? No. Can he go somewhere that gets, just going to have a look at that, cloth and gold? No. Can he go somewhere that gets 2 gold? No. What about that one? No, 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 no. So he will prioritize gold over Surda favor. So we've got 2 choices. It's either that one or that one. How do we know which one to use? We use the same tiebreaker as before. So this arrow on the back of that tile is the tiebreaker. So it's pointing to the bottom right, clockwise, so he goes on that one. And he gets a gold. Now remember, Gowdy does not collect gold or cloth. Instead, every time he gets gold, he's going to score 4 points because we're playing on the hard difficulty level. I am checking the chat to make sure I'm playing it right. And so far, Danny hasn't pointed anything that I've done wrong, which is good. Because I'm always nervous when I do these sponsored streams that I make some kind of mistake. But I'm fairly confident that I've got that right. Right, that's it. That is Gowdy's actions done. We now go to building. Now, remember what I said about building? You must build if able to. And at the moment, there is only 1 space. No, there's 2 spaces on the board that can be built on. Because there's here. There is a corner building here that can be built. So the building tiles, let's just get the building tiles out. This is the building tile for a corner building. And you can see from the iconography on here that it basically requires any 2 types of citizens. Doesn't matter what they are, just 2 types of citizens. Or we could build on here, and we could build this one, which again needs any 2 types of citizens. We have a blue and a red, so that could be built there. Or we could build this one. Now, the reason why we can build this one is it still requires 2 citizens, but one of those citizens must be red. And Gowdy, if you were a human player, you could choose. You could choose absolutely which one you wanted to do. But Gowdy always builds the best one he can. Let's just have a look at the blue building. We cannot build this one. And the reason why is it requires 3 citizens and one of them must be blue. So although we do have a blue citizen, we don't have 3. The fact that we have a stack of 2, don't think of that as a stack of 2 because you can only ever use the top one. So yeah, we can't build that one, which means this is the one that's being built. He will always, and I'm just going to show you the bottom of his cards here. He will always try and build that first, then that, then that, then that. So that is the priority order, and that is always the same. So that's the one that's being built. Right. what do? Whenever you build a building, you get favour or disfavour with Serda. Now, if this was a human player building it, we would gain 1 on the Basilica track and we would lose 1 favour with Serda. Because Gaudi is a bit of a cheat, he never loses favour with Serda because of these tiles. So he's going to get the benefit, but he's not going to get the penalty. So that is 1 space up on the Basilica track. So let's just have a look at Gaudi's board. And we're going to move 1 space up to there. That means we've crossed that first one, which gets 5 points. So he gets 5 points for doing that. And then what we do is we move those citizens who are currently sitting around on the street waiting for a home to live in. We're going to take that one. And we're going to take that one. They are the 2 that are needed for this tile. The tile then gets flipped over. And what we do is we take the leftmost disc from the leftmost stack and we put it on there to indicate that that player built that building. Now, these citizens, this is a cool part of the game. Really like this bit. We place those citizens on this track here. So we've got a red one, so it goes on the next available red space. And we have a blue one, which goes on the next available blue space. Then what we do is the player who built the building will earn points equal to the lowest visible number, which is 1. So if you'd have built with green instead of blue, he would have actually got 2 points. So as the game goes on and these citizens start moving up or covering over these spaces, buildings are going to be worth more and more points. So that goes there. Number 1 is visible, so he gets 1 point for the building. But that's not all. This is the first building built in this row. So that flips over and he gets another 5 points. That's it. That's the building. Now, that's it. That's the end of its turn. Yeah, we built the building. We haven't triggered scoring. Right, it's my go. So we've had 1 turn each. Time for a bit of a drink. I made a smoothie. I made it way too thick, so I didn't get anything then whatsoever. There we go. That's better. Okay, so my go. I've got a red and a green, and now I have lots of options because I could build now if I wanted to by using these existing citizens that are on the board. The other important thing about building is building has no relation whatsoever to where you place your citizens. So, for example, I could put my citizens here and then I could build a building over here, right? Because we have a green one here, we have a red one here. Right now, this is a viable building location. So it doesn't matter where I place my pieces at all. The other thing that's important about buildings is you can overbuild with a better type of building. So let's say I had a blue piece, a blue citizen. I could have put the blue citizen here. And then, because I've got 3 citizens, one of which is blue, I could have overbuilt this with the blue building. Only with a better class of building. Right, back to the plan. Are we going to put some more streets on the board? Are we going to put some more streets and get the maximum amount of points for this before somebody else does? I think we are. And I think that is actually going to be able to get me a building as well. Will it get me a building? Well, no, I'm going to get the building anyway. Okay, right, I got a plan. I have a very cunning plan. It's going to be to go here. Now, that doesn't cost me any money. I think I'm going to go there. Am I going to go there? Yeah, I'm going to go there. The first action I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2 streets. So I'm going to place the last 2 streets from my player board, which means I have unlocked that benefit, which is 1 favour with Serda. So we're going to move up that track, and I'm going to place these streets. So I was going to place them both here, but I need a gold. I absolutely need another gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one there, which is 3 points, because it's a narrow street, which is worth 1 and it's connected to 2 others. So that's 3 points. But then I'm going to put this one. I don't really know. Let's put it there. That gets me a gold. Now I have 3 gold, because if you remember earlier on, The public service buildings, the first one of each type costs 3 gold. So I need 3 gold in order to be able to buy a building, and I have 3 gold. So we'll spend the 3 gold. And let's have a look at the various ones available. So I can buy any of these, but you can only buy each public service building once. So if I buy this first one here, I cannot then buy the second one. Did I forget a point? I did. Yes, I forgot the point for that second road that I placed. Thank you very much. So this one is moving the tram without paying gold. This one is placing a cobblestone, ignoring adjacency. This one is placing an intersection without paying the gold. This one is placing 2 streets or a wide street. That's the one I'm going to take. Yeah, so this is the one I'm going to take. I knew I was going to take this one. So this is absolutely the one that I'm going to take. It gets me 10 points immediately, up to 17. It gets me 2 bumps up on the Serda track, and I can either place 2 narrow streets or 1 main street. So what I'm going to do is I am going to place 2 more narrow streets. So I've managed to get 6 of these on the board already. And I'm going to go there. So that is a cloth. And also 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my second one for my next trick. A bit short on money. Very short on money. So let's go there and get a gold as well. And I guess 1 point. Don't forget about it, Paul. Right? That's my 2 actions done. I did that action and I did that action. That action got me to build a public services building. That public services building got me to build 2 more streets, which got me more points. Now, at this point, I just wanted to mention something that I really like in the rulebook. The rulebook, I know some people won't like this, but I really do. Throughout the entire rulebook are these green boxes with historical notes, because Danny, although this might look like an abstract Euro game, Danny has actually got explanations and put a lot of thought into all of this and why it's happening. And these public services buildings, they're all explained in the back of the rulebook. And that one that I've built is the Passage de Louis Compinis. Whatever that is. It looks like a bridge, but yeah. So there you go. It's really nice that there is theme in the game if you want the theme to be there. If you're not interested in the theme of the game, you can play this game just for the mechanics if you want to. Anyway, back to the game. We're building. So again, building happens at the end of your turn, and we need to look at the various spaces where I can build. Can I build here? I have 3 citizens, but none of them are blue. So we can't build there. Can't build here because there's only one space I can build, and that's there. So I'm going to build there, and it's going to be one of these corner pieces. So these corner pieces require any 2 citizens. So it's that one and that one. We flip it over. No, there's no bonus for building it. Only the points. So I'm going to put that one on there, that one on there. The lowest visible number is 2. So I gain 2 points for building that building. There we go. And it's interesting because if you look at this track, there are already 4 red citizens on there. 2 more red citizens go on, and that's going to trigger the first scoring. Which is what happened in the practice game this afternoon. We had a first scoring by like round 2 or something, but then it was quite a while before the next one. That's my go done. I'm going to draw 2 more tiles. I'm curious at this stage, for those people who are watching this video live who didn't know much about the game, let us know what you think about it. Bearing in mind the designer's in the chat, but I'm sure he's thick-skinned. Yeah, let me know what you think of it so far. Right. It's Gaudi's turn. So we're drawing 2 of these. It's a red and a green. So the red goes on top of the green. We are then going to draw another card. And what's he going to do? Now, I might have to look at the rulebook for this one because I didn't have that this afternoon. That is building a public services building. But first, we need to determine where he's going to move to. Oh, did I forget to claim the building? I did forget to claim the building. Thank you. There you go. Claim the building. So, where's he going to move to? First of all, is there one of his intersections around? No. Okay. So, he wants to go here first. His priority arrow is pointing to the northwest. If he goes here and places citizens, will he be able to build a building? No. So we go clockwise from here. What about here? No. What about here? No. What about here? No. What about here? Can't go there. What about here? Yes. So this is the first space clockwise from there where he could go and place citizens and be able to build a building. So that basically goes there, and he's placing those 2 citizens on there like that. Right, now the action. I am going to have to look this up because I didn't have this one this afternoon. So this is build a public service. Gaudi takes a tile for a public service he has not yet built. Choose the most expensive tile going from left to right. And then Gaudi advances on the Serda track and receives victory points as usual, but instead of performing the action on the public service tile, deal a new card from the Gaudi deck to the discard pile and perform the action on that card instead. Right. So he's taking public service building, one that he hasn't got, from left to right. The most expensive going from left to right. So it's this one. And he gets the points and the pump up the Serda track as normal. So he gets 10 points. He moves up the track. But instead of doing the special action on the tile itself, he actually just draws another card and does that action instead. So let's have a look at that card. Did I get... I forgot 5 victory points for the row. Thank you. See, I knew there was something I forget. I built a building in this row, so I get another 5 points. I would have spotted that later, I hope. Anyway, back to Gaudi's turn. This is the extra card that he's drawn. So this is building a wide street and 1 step up on his Basilica track. So we can do the Basilica track. That's really easy. That just goes 1 up there. It's not crossed the next threshold, so he doesn't get the next lot of points. But building streets, this is a little trickier. So what he does is he takes this street and he's going to place it adjacent to his meeple. Now, the locations that this can go, there's only 2 possible locations because this is a wide street, so it's going there or there, and he always prioritizes getting as many bonuses as possible. So that's 1 bonus, that's no bonuses. So he goes there, he's going to get 2 points for the street, and he's going to get that boost up that track. So boost up the track, gets 2 points. That's it. I think that's it. That's it for the actions. Now we do the building. So again, we look at the various places where he can build, and there is only 1 place he can build because we only have 2 stacks of citizens on the board. So he's going to build here, and he always builds the best type of building possible, which is another one of those, because it needs 2 citizens, 1 of which needs to be red. So that's that one and that one. This gets built. He moves up 1 again on his Basilica track. And this time he's moving from there all the way to there. So he's crossed that. He gains 7 points. 7 points, 27 to 34. He doesn't get the penalty because he's a big cheat. That gets flipped over. It is the first building on that row. So we'll do those 5 points before I forget. And then we're going to place these citizens on the tracks. So that one goes there. That one goes there. The lowest visible number is still 2. So he gets 2 points for building the building. Right, that's it. So we're only 1 step away from triggering this scoring. So I could, theoretically, build a building with a red tile, except I don't have red. There's red there, so I could do it. Oh, he puts a disc. He puts a disc on there, and that's his second disc. So he moves that up to there. Done. Right, so my go. We're looking quite good for this, because I've got 6 of those narrow streets out, so it's worth 6 multiplied by 2. If I can get that to 3, that's going to be 18 points. And I could potentially do that. I could potentially do that. Where are we going to go? I mean, I should be thinking about the second objective as well, which is to place passengers on the board. Your first passenger costs you 1 gold. I just need a minute to think, because I have options here. I could actually trigger this scoring now, but I would build a blue building and I would move 2 down. That means I'd lose 6 points by doing that. Not sure I want to do that. Not sure I do. So I think what we might do is build a green building. Because the green buildings, the large green buildings move me one up. That's the one that I need. Or I could just build a wide street. Or, okay. Oh, I know what I can do. Oh, but if I do that, I don't get to build a building. Oh, right. No, I think I've got a plan. I have it. So so this is really interesting. If I was to put this here like this, I must build a building here because I've got 3 citizens, one of which are blue. So I must do it. So if I do that, I have to do that. So maybe I won't do that because I don't actually want to build a blue building at this stage. No, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put them on there like that. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm going to get to do this action and this action. So I get to place 2 narrow streets and 1 wide street. Okay, so the 2 narrow streets. Well, I think I'm going to go there for 2 points. And I'm going to go there for 3 points plus the 3 points printed on the space. So that is actually 6 points. That's my 2 narrow streets done. Then I'm going to place my wide street, and the wide street is going to go... Let's go here. So that's 2 points. So wide streets score in the same way as the narrow streets, but double. So it's 2 points for that. And I get 1 favour or influence with Serda. Now we go to building. I cannot build. I don't believe there is a legal place on the board where I can build, so I don't have to. And that's it. That's my turn done. Right. I'm drawing 2 new tiles. I've drawn a blue and a green. Now we do Serda's turn, and I think it's at like Serda's 3rd turn or something like that. So let's draw the card and see what we've got. Right, okay, so what he's doing is he's advancing his Basilica track, and he's also improving one of his objectives. But first we need to move his meeple, and the arrow is pointing to the right. So again, first thing, does he have any intersections? No. So he's going to want to move to the right, but he can't because the citizen's there. So he moves to here. He can't because the citizen's there. Here, is this a valid space for building? Unfortunately, yes it is. Oh, we need to draw 2 tiles for him. And the 2 tiles we've drawn are a blue and a green. So he always puts the blue on top. And if he goes here, he can build a building. So we are going to see a blue building get built. Actions. What's he doing? He's moving his Basilica marker up by 1. That moves to there. And it's that action. So that action is he's improving one of his objectives. Now, interestingly, he always improves these objectives from left to right. But whenever he takes new objectives, he takes them from right to left. So what we've done is we're going to move that cube up there, which doesn't actually have any effect on the game whatsoever, because he doesn't have an objective in that location, and he's not going to have an objective in that location until he's taken 5 objectives, which might never happen. So that's actually quite good for us. Now we do the building. So if we look at the board carefully, we actually have 2 spaces, which are legal space, 3 spaces to be built in. So I'm just going to move this meeple off to one side just so you can see the citizens. So this is a legal building location. We have 2 citizens, so you can build a building here. This is also a legal building position because we got 2 citizens, but this is also a legal building position for an upgrade because there is a blue citizen here and there's this. And Gaudi will always build the best one he can. So we're going to have our first overbuilding in the game. That's going to go there. Now, the one thing I don't know, and I will have to check the rules on this, is exactly which citizens he's going to use. Danny will probably tell me in the chat, but I'm just going to check what the rulebook says. Constructing a building. Right, so if more citizens surround the block than are required, use the same arrow, but now centered on the chosen block and rotating clockwise to choose which ones to take. So he has to take the blue one. The blue one is needed for this building, so that's gone. But then what we're going to do is we're going to take the card with the arrow on, which the arrow is pointing to the right. So it's this one and then clockwise. So it takes that one and then that one. I think that's right. They are the other two citizens that it's taken from the center of the block using the arrow. Yeah, there we go. Done. So what happens is this flips over. You keep the original disc on there, but you put another disc on top because there is one. There's one scoring tile in the game that gives you points for discs on the bottom. That's on there. Then we're going to take these 3 citizen tokens and we're going to put one on there, one on there, and one on there. And then he's going to score 4 points because that is the lowest visible number. And we have placed a tile on the last space there, which means we are going to have a scoring phase. So he gets the 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I forgot to give him the 7 VPs and the 2 for the Sagrada? Did I? Oh, sorry for that. I forgot to give him the 7 VPs for crossing that, apparently. Thank you very much, Danny, for spotting that. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, apparently I forgot. So, where are we? We've done the building. It was a red building now. Oh, have we done the thing? Yeah, we did the 2. Right, that was just now. And again, oh, there's the 7 points for that. Ah, the 7 points from the building. Sorry, yes, the blue buildings are 7 points. He will have to move 2 on the Sagrada Familiar track, I'm afraid, which is another 2. Wow, he's really moving up that. So yeah, sorry, I did do the 7 points for that. What we're saying is I didn't do the 7 points for the building, which I've now done, but it's also 2 up this track, which is another 10 points. Wow. Okay, but that is that done. So yes, the blue buildings are 7 points and 2 up your Sagrada Familiar track. Oh, he's raced ahead. I mean, I am playing on the hard mode, but okay. I mean, I kind of knew that was coming, but just wait. We are now doing our first scoring. So this is the scoring tile that we're going to do, and this happens at the end of the current player's turn. Doesn't happen at the end of the round, although in our case it is the end of the round. So yeah, happens at the end of the current player's turn, and we're going to score for this. So it's that many points multiplied by this, multiplied by your multiplier here, which is times 1 as long as you're here or higher, times 0 if you're down here. So I've got 6 narrow streets out. No, I don't. I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8. I've got 8 narrow streets out, and I'm on times 3. 24 points. Boom. Gaudi is a big cheater again. Even though he doesn't have any streets out, he's counted as having 3. So it's 3 multiplied by his 3 is 9. It's not too bad. And it's always 3. It's a fixed 3 no matter what the condition is. That's it. That's the first scoring tile gone. 4. I'm playing on hard. Oh, sorry, 4. Not 3. It was 3 on normal difficulty. On hard mode, it's 4. So that's another 3 points. Okay. I think that's right. He had 4 of them times 3, so it was 12 instead of 9. Another 3 points. Yeah. Right. Okay, and I think that is his turn done. So after the scoring phase, we do a few things. Everybody's marker who is higher than here resets to here. If you were below here, you stay below. The next thing we do is we're going to discard those 4 objective tiles, none of which have been taken yet, but I'm sure we will at some point, and we deal 4 more. If we ever run out, we reshuffle the discards and we go back. Have I got it right? It's the GR. Yeah, so the GR is 4. I think we got it right. I think it's 12 points. Let me just double check. It is victory points equal to the current Serda tile multiplied by Gaudi's position on the Serda track multiplied by the GR difficulty level you chose. Yeah, so it was 1 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4. So we got it right. We got it right. Okay, my go. Right, do we have a plan? Well, the next scoring tile is for passengers. We have no passengers on the board whatsoever. And then the third scoring tile is for objective tiles. We have no objective tiles on the board whatsoever. So I'm getting a little worried that we're already behind on points, but I kind of want this 5-point bonus. And we could build one of the blue buildings. Oh, you shuffle his deck. Sorry, yes. In the solo mode, you also shuffle his deck at the end of each of these stages. I did forget that earlier on. So many little micro decisions to make. There's so many things you want to do in this game, and this is one of those games where you will not do everything. You've got the intersections, you've got the passengers, you've got the objectives, you've got the cobblestones, you've got La Sagrada Familiar. There's so many things to do. I thought I was doing well to start with, but now I'm looking at the situation and I'm thinking, I mean, we are playing on the hard mode, so, you know. Right, what are we going to do? Are we going to get the tram out? Are we going to start tramming it up? I think we are. And if we are, am I also going to take... I kind of want more... Trams are better when they're on wide streets. But I don't think I've got time to go onto the wide streets. So there is a particular objective tile I'm looking for that gives links for narrow streets. It's not come out yet. It might come out later. We definitely don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that. I do have the money, so I could choose the diagonal if I wanted to, but I don't want to take that because I need the money for that. So we're not going to go on the diagonal. There is just a nice, easy 2 money up there, and there's a tram space. And we could still build here using these 2 citizens, no matter where I place these. So, do we want to do that? Yeah, we do. We are going to place these 2 citizens here. Okay. So the first action is to take 2 coins, but I don't want to do that because I've only got space for one more thing in my warehouse. So I'm actually going to do the tram action first. Now, the tram action is the most complicated action in the game. So I will go through this carefully and hopefully explain it. The first time in the game that you perform the tram action, you take your tram and you put it on any street on the board. It doesn't have to have a tile on it, but you kind of want to put passengers on your own streets because then you're going to get points. If you put passengers on other players' streets, they get points. But you can move your tram onto these streets if you want to. So, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to lie it down like that, right? So moving your tram is one thing that you do. The next time I take the tram action, I must move at least 1 space. You can move 1 or 2 spaces, but any movement on your own streets doesn't cost you any movement points. So you move your tram, but then the next thing that you do is you drop off a passenger. Now, if we look at my player board, passengers must be dropped off from left to right. The first passenger is going to cost me a gold. Second one would cost me a cloth, then a gold and a cloth, etc., etc. But notice, points. So 1 point at the end of the game if I have unlocked my first passenger. If I unlock my second passenger, that's 5 points at the end of the game. Not 1. It's not 5 plus 1, it's just 5. You take the highest number. So I'm going to pay the 1 gold, and I'm going to unlock my first passenger, and that passenger is going to get placed on the street tile next to where the tram is. Now, once the passenger is on a street tile, that's it. They are stuck there for the rest of the game. Nobody else can put a passenger there. But placing a passenger does 2 things. The first thing is it scores points for that street to the player who owns the street in the same way that if the street had just been placed, which for me is 4 points. The second thing it does is it gives you for free the bonus action of the column or the row where the passenger was placed. So because the passenger was placed here, I get to do that action. So I'm going to remove this and let's have a look. What goodies do we want? Well, look at that. There's an objective there. Okay. I'm thinking of taking this. I mean, I could put 2 more small streets on the board, but I have 8 streets on the board. I mean, I could. It's actually worth quite a few points, but there's an objective there. So I'm looking at those objectives to see if any of those are of any good to me at all. And they're not. I mean, the cobblestone one, yes, if I do lots more cobblestones. But actually, I'm just going to place 2 streets. I'm going to put 2 more small streets out. So these are my last 2 small streets, which gets me 1 space up on the Serda track. So we're obviously going to put that one there because that's just a straight 4 points. Nice and easy. We're going to put this one. Let's put it here for a gold and a point. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all my streets gone. I can't build any more narrow streets now. But that's the passenger bonus. So I did that action. Where did I even go? I went here. So I did that action. That got me to do the tram. That got me to do the passenger. The passenger got me that action. And I've still got this action to do. I take 2 gold. That might be a second public service building. Right, now, end of my turn. I must build if able, and I can build. There is a legal building spot here. I think it's the only one that I can build on. Am I not getting gold for my next action? Says Paul. I think I'm good. Am I not good? I think I'm good. Yeah, I took the 2 gold. Yeah, I freed up the space in order to put it. Yeah. So we're building here. And the only thing I can build, because it's a blue and a green, so I can't build the red building. The only thing I can build is that, using the blue citizen and the green citizen. So those are getting used to go there. The benefit is that I move a 1 up on there. That gets flipped over. I put my disc on it. That is my last disc from that stack. So I move another 1 up and I get to put these citizens on the board. So the blue one goes there. The green one goes there. And how many points is the lowest points visible? Ding! 7. 7. So we get 7 points. 79. And another 5. Right, I can forget about that now because they're all flipped over. And that's the end of my turn. I'm liking that. That's much better. Look how many points I just gained on that turn. That was a good turn. I feel good about that. Except it's now Gaudi's turn, and we all know how much of a cheater Gaudi is. Right, what's Gaudi going to do? Oh, okay, right. Well, first thing is we need to move his meeple. Are there any intersections? No. So it's going to try going west. If it went there, could it build a building? No. If it went there, could it build? No. If it went there, could it build? No. It can't go there. If it went there, could it build? No. Ooh. If it went there, could it build? No. What about there? No. What about there? No. What about there? Right. I've not had this happen before. There is nowhere that it can go where it would build a building. So this is covered in the rulebook, but this never happened to me this afternoon. And this is, if there is a tie between, if there are no suitable street crossings for Gaudi's meeple to move to, check 2 spaces away from his meeple's position and apply the priority order again. Right. So, again, he's going 2 spaces away. Here. If he goes here, can he build? No. What about here? No. Here. Is that 2 spaces away? No, that's not 2 spaces away, is it? Oh, no, it is. 1, 2. Oh, check his third priority. Okay, sorry. His third priority is the street crossing does not have your intersection tile. Well, none of these have intersection tiles. So that's why I don't think Yeah, the third tiebreaker isn't relevant because it's he will deprioritize a street crossing that doesn't have my intersection tile. Oh, you mean he does that first? Oh, right. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that. Right. So priority 1, he will use his own intersection. Priority 2, he will try to construct a building if he can. If he can't, he just goes to the third priority, which is the street crossing doesn't have my intersection. So what we're saying is, if there are no suitable street crossings because he can't build and these were all my intersections, then we'd go 2 spaces away. Got it. Right. So in this case, he just moves there, and I've not even drawn his tiles yet. I see. I needed to see that through to understand how that worked. We've got blue and a red, so it's blue first, and I've denied him building. He can't build. Oh, that's great. But on the tile he's going to take an objective tile. So whenever he takes an objective tile, he always takes, and it's based on the card. So if you have a look at this card here, it tells you which of the 4 objectives he's going to take. So he's going to take the second objective, but he always places it on the right-hand side of his board. So we're going to put it there. And he doesn't pay for that because he's a big cheater. And we replenish it with a new one. And then he can't build. Wow. So we've denied him building. I mean, that's due to luck rather than judgment, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that. So he doesn't build, so he doesn't get any points. And he did an action, which is actually not that... Well, it's going to get him some endgame points. Okay. My go. We got a red and a green. Now, what do I want to do? Do I want to do another passenger? Do I want to get these passengers out? Because that's going to be good for that. Yeah, we want to. We absolutely want to. Do we want another public service building? Oh, we could do another public service building. Oh, look how good they are. See, one of them gets me to move my tram. And it only costs 2 gold. The other one allows me to place a cobblestone anywhere on the board. I think I might do that. Yeah. Because my next passenger is actually going to cost me a cloth. Okay. Now, we've not seen the rules for intersections yet. We might not see the rules for intersections because there's so many different things you can do in this game. I'm going to do it. Oh, but... No, because if I do that, I can't build. Oh, agonizing. Let's go on the diagonal. I'm going on the diagonal. Oh, no, but that's the street. Ah. If... Oh. Okay. Kind of want to go on the diagonal to get this as well, but... Oh, this is interesting. If I did that, and then that, and then that, I'd have to do that first. No, right. I'm trying to work out this. I think we are going to go here. Yeah, I think we're going to go here. Right. So I've placed. Actions. Oh, and I have to spend the coin. I have to spend the coin because I'm on the diagonal alley. Right, so we've got the tram action. I'm going to put little beads on these so I don't forget. So I'm doing that action. I'm also doing that action. And I'm also going to do this action. Which one do we want to do first? It's a real shame he took that objective because that's the one I wanted. I mean, there is another one there that I kind of want. Passengers next to 2 buildings. That might work. Okay. So... let's take an objective first. I'm going to do this action and I'm going to take an objective, and the objective that I'm going to take is this one. So this objective is 2 points for each disc that I have on the bottom of a stack. Now, I can choose where to put it. I don't want to put it here because I need the cloth for dropping the passenger off. I'm really tempted to put it here because I think I'm going to do well out of this one. I think in a 2-player game, this one is actually slightly better than in a 3 or 4-player game because you're going to get more turns. So I'm going to get more discs out on the bottom of stacks. I think I'm going to plan for the future and I'm going to put it here. So that's going to cost me 1 gold and 1 cloth. Right, that's my first action done. My next action is I'm going to move my tram. So my tram can move. It must move at least 1 space, but it can move up to 2 spaces. But moving on my own streets is free. So I can actually move it pretty much wherever I want within all of this stuff. And then the important thing is I get to do the action wherever it stops. So. Oh, now that's interesting. Let's. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to move it to here. And then I'm going to spend 1 cloth to drop off my second passenger here. That street is worth 4 points, so I gain 4 points. And the passenger is in that column, which allows me to do this action immediately, which removes another one of these. And where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Let me go here, which gets me a gold and a cloth. Gold and a cloth. Right? And then we've still got this action to do. So this action is placing one of the wide streets. Now, where are we going to place this? Do we want some money? I think we do. I'm going to put it here. That gets me 2 points because it's in the same column as this one, but it's not connected. So it only gets 2 points. Do I need to replenish the end game scoring tile? I do. Okay. And I've also covered over 2 coins. So I get 2 coins. And we're rich again. Right. Have I done all of my actions? Yeah, I mean, I did like 4 actions that turn. Building. So let's look at the viable building spots. I could build here or here. I believe these are the only 2 spots I can build in because these citizens are on their own. They can't build anywhere. This middle-class citizen is over here complaining about the lack of quinoa. They can't do anything. So it's going to be here. And I'm going to build one of these green buildings, which moves me 1 up on the Serta favour track. And takes that. And that. I flip that over. I put my disc on it. And I put these on here. So the blue one goes there. The green one goes there. The lowest visible number is 7. I gain 7 points. Done? I think I'm done. I draw 2 new tiles. Every time it's my turn, I think it's going well. Michael's here cheering for me. Thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. It's going okay so far. I am giving it my best. Right. Okay. Gaudi's turn. Here we go. Let's see what he can do. So we're going to draw 2 tiles for Gaudi. It's a blue and a green. So the blue one's going to go on top. We are drawing a card. The card is a tram. But first of all, he's going to move. So he's going to move. Are there any intersections? No, there are no intersections. So he's going to move this way. If he goes here, can he build a building? No. Cannot build a building if he goes there. So we go clockwise from there to here. Can he build a building here? Yes. He can build a building if he goes here because there is a citizen here. So he moves to there and he places these two there. Okay, and the action is tram. Now, we didn't do that this afternoon, so I'm going to check what Serda does, what Gaudi does with the tram action. Gaudi places his next passenger from the board on a street space adjacent to his meeple with no other passengers, prioritising his own streets that would gain him the most points and avoiding your streets if possible. Now, he doesn't have a tram, so we literally just take the passenger. He's going to put it adjacent, using his own streets if possible, or avoiding my streets. So it goes there. Yeah. I think that's the only place that it can go. Right? But instead of doing the action on the row, we flip another card to see what it does. Yeah. So we're going to flip another card, and it is 2 streets and an advancement. So we can do the advancement first. That's that one. And now let's do the 2 streets. It's interesting, Danny, because Gaudi is famous for being the architect of La Sagrada Familiar, the unfinished basilica in Barcelona. But actually, according to the history that I was reading in the rulebook this afternoon, he wasn't the first architect that was involved in that project. There was another architect who was involved first, but he was fired due to a discrepancy in the accounting, should we say. So I found that quite interesting. So we're placing these 2 streets. Now, whenever Gaudi constructs streets, he's trying to construct them prioritize adjacent to his meeple, prioritizing spaces with benefits. Now, that could be there. I mean, that is the only space that is available adjacent to his meeple. Yeah, and if he can't build adjacent, then he goes 2 spaces away, etc., etc. So the first one goes there. And that gets him 2 points because there's 1 connected street. So 2 points for that. The second one cannot go adjacent. So we're now looking to go 2 spaces away. And we're going to use the arrow as the tiebreaker, which is pointing in this direction. So it's basically there. No, that's a wide street there. Yeah, that's 2 away. So it's that one. So he goes there. He gets 3 points for the street. He gets the cloth. The cloth immediately converts into a Gaudi, which gets 4 points. Think I've done that right? Think I've done that right. So that was the tram action, which dropped him a passenger, which got him to do a bonus action. Yes. And now building. So we actually have 2 different spaces where it can build. So we can build here. This is a legal building placement for one of the corner buildings. This is a legal building placement. And this is a legal building placement. So we're not going to go for that one because we can have a red one on either of these 2. And again, which one do we go with? We use the priority arrow again, which tells us that we're going with that one. So that uses that citizen and that citizen. He goes 1 up on his basilica track, which means he's got to the end. So he gains 18 points. Uh-oh. He's on 101. He doesn't move down on here because he's a cheat. And then we put these on the track. So that one goes there, that one goes there. And he scores 7 points for the building. Oh, look at that. He's zoomed ahead again. Just when I thought, I mean, you can have big swings of points in this game from doing big actions. I mean, moving up there, getting to the end. Now, normally, I just wanted to mention this. So whenever you move, if you're playing a multiplayer game and your marker reaches the end of your track, then that's it. There is no benefit whatsoever to moving any further. But we are playing tonight with a variant, which is in the rulebook, which says that every time that Gaudi is going to move again on here and can't, he gets 4 points instead. So there is still a benefit for him doing that. So that gets flipped over. That goes on there. He moves 1 up on the Serda favour track. And building is done. We don't have a scoring. That's it. That's his turn done, I think. So, my go. Now, we've got 2 passengers on the board. That's not enough. We could go for a 3rd passenger. We could absolutely go for a 3rd passenger by just choosing the tram action again. And the tram action will get us to build a building. And if we build it with blue... is there any way we can go and build a blue building? Sorry, no, build a building, but with a blue citizen. Yes, there is. We can totally do this. Yeah, right. I got a plan. Got a plan. Getting excited. So we're going to go... We're going here. That's where we're going. And I'm doing 2 actions. I'm doing that action and I'm doing that action. So the first action I'm going to do... No, it's good. It's good. Right, there's a chain of events that's going to happen right now, and it's important that I do this in the right order. I'm going to do the tram action first. The tram is going to move to here. The tram's not moving very far whatsoever. But my 3rd passenger is 1 gold and 1 cloth. I drop it there. That street is worth 4 points. I am now on 101. Boom. Then I get to do this action because I've placed a passenger in this column. So I get to take this tile and I'm going to put it... I need a cloth, don't I? Yeah, I need a cloth. So I'm going to place it in the bottom right of this. Let me just show you this board here. So the corner spaces are always basilica movement. So I'm going to put that there. That allows me to move 1 space on my basilica track, which means I've crossed this space. So I take either one of these 2 tiles and I'm going to take this one, which gets me 1 cloth and 1 gold. And that goes in there. And then I think I've done that action. Yeah, that action is finished. I'm then going to do this action, which is to upgrade one of my objectives. And I am going to spend the 1 cloth that I just got to move that cube to there. So this end of game scoring tile is now worth ×3. So it's 2 points for every disc I have that's on the bottom of a stack, multiplied by 3. So that is hopefully going to get me approximately 1 bazillion points by the end of the game. Right, and then we can laugh at Gaudi. I'm getting overconfident now, aren't I? I think that's my turn of actions done. We now go to building. So that is a legal place. That is a legal place. That's it. It's either there or it's there. And I don't have I can't build a red one because the red ones require red citizens. So we're just going to build that there using that citizen and that one. It gets me +1 up this track. Now at this point, I'm getting close to the top of the track. I will mention that if you're ever at the top, if you were to go further, you get 2 points for every space that you would move. That gets flipped over. I put my disc on it, which is another stack empty, which means I move to the top. And I place these citizens on here. And now the lowest visible number is 9. So I get 9 points. Back in the lead. Okay, and that's really good for that objective. Okay. We've drawn a red and a green. Okay, it is Gaudi's turn. We've drawn red and a blue, so it's blue on top, then red. The card that we're turning over is 1 on the Basilica, so he can't move on the Basilica, so he gains 4 points instead. And he is upgrading his leftmost objective, which is that one. Sorry, I haven't placed the citizen yet. I got all excited about the actions. Does he have any intersections? No. So he wants to go northwest. Can he build if he goes there? Yes, he can. That is a viable building location. Now, whether he will build there or not is yet to be seen. But that is a location where if he placed those citizens there, he would be able to build. But he doesn't actually... Oh, yeah, because he's here. So I think that's what he's going to... So this is a viable building location. This is a viable building location. This is a viable building location. And here, there's lots. But he's not going to build a corner building because he can build a red building there or a red building there. So which one does he build? These are both viable building options. Now this is interesting because the card has an arrow pointing that way. So is this covered in the rulebook, Danny? There are two viable building options. I'm going to guess the closest one would be my guess. Oh, it's supposed to be adjacent to the meeple. Ah, right. So we can only initially it's building adjacent to the meeple. Right. Okay. So he's building that there. He gets +1 on his Basilica track, which is another 4 points. He doesn't lose favour. That gets flipped over. He puts a disc on there. That comes off. That comes off. They go on here. We haven't triggered the second scoring yet, but he gains 9 points for that. 25. There you go. Wow. Right. I think that's his turn done. He did the actions. I did the actions first. Then I did the build. So I did that in slightly the wrong order. Apologies for that because I got carried away. But he did the actions, did the building. We're done. My go. Right. Okay. So every turn I start off 20 points behind and then I have an awesome turn and I end up 20 points ahead. It's just this give and take at the moment. We're looking quite good for this. My multiplier is on ×4. I have 3 passengers on the board. That means at the moment I'm getting 24 points for this tile. If I can get another passenger out, that's another 8 points. But a passenger is going to cost me 1 cloth and 2 gold. I don't have the cloth, but I could get the cloth. I could absolutely get the cloth because there's an action here which is get 1 cloth and 3 points. So I can do it. I can get this other passenger out. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, I'm going to do it. Totes going to do it. Right. We're going here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just over. I'm working out what building I'm going to build because I don't want to move down on the track. So I'm actually going to build a corner building here because that's good for this. I was going to overbuild, but that would move me down on the track. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Right. I'm going there. So the 2 actions I'm doing are tram and cloth and 3 points. We'll do the cloth and 3 points first because that's easy. 1 cloth, 3 points. Oh, it doesn't count corner buildings. Oh, it doesn't count corner buildings. Good point. Am I going to change my mind? Yeah, let's just take that back. I've got another plan instead. I'm going to go here instead. And I'm going to do that action and that action. So, we're doing this first. I'm spending 3 gold. And I'm going to buy this building, which is... It's the St. Anthony Market. There you go. Here's what it is. So I'm building this. It cost me 3 gold. And I immediately get 1 cloth for every block that I'm on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it counts this one. Yeah, I think it counts the blocks. So if I was on there and there, it would only count that once. So I gained 4 cloth. Oh, have I messed this up? Oh, I might have messed this up. Yeah, because I don't have the 2 gold. I then don't have the 2 gold for it. Oh, right. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Right. I need the cloth and the 2 gold. Okay. Let's just spend 2 gold and let's buy this building. No, because then I don't have the cloth. Okay. So let's go. Yeah, some slight changes of plan here. We're going to go there instead. So we're not doing the tram action. We're doing that action and that action. Right. So there we go. Undone. That's what we had. Yeah, I think that's what we had. So I'm doing this action first and I'm spending 2 gold to build that. This building gets me 6 points. It moves me 2 up on there, which is another 4 points. And I get to do the tram action without paying the... Oh, I don't have the cloth. That's fine. I do the tram action without paying the gold. So before I do that, I do this. And I'll go on here to get the cloth. Okay, so there you go. Done that first, put the cobblestone there, got the cloth. Now built the building, got the 6 points, moved up twice on the track. Now I'm doing the tram action without paying the gold, but I still need to pay the cloth. Right, we've got it. It's all worked out beautifully, just with a little bit of complication. So we're going to, again, we can move 2 spaces, but you don't count your own streets. So I'm actually just going to move to here. Because we like this. I'm going to put it there. I get 4 points. And I'm going to place another cobblestone. And I'm going to put it here, which is a wide street. And I'm going to put the wide street there, which gets me 6 points. There you go. Is that it? I think that's it for my actions. So I did the building, I did that, and the building got me the tram action. Right. Now we build. And we have a few options. We have a corner building here. We have a corner building here. We have a corner building here. But I don't want to build them. I want to build a green building here. And the reason why I want to build the green building is because I don't want this to drop. So that goes up. I get 2 points. That goes on there. I'm just going to flip it over straight away. I put my disc on there to show that it's mine. I remove that. So I can remove any of these citizens, but I'm just going to remove the 2 green ones. Oh, hang on. Let's look on here. Yeah, I'm going to remove the 2 green ones because that triggers the scoring. And I think I want to trigger the scoring now. See, if this was a multiplayer game, you'd want to trigger the scoring before the other players can get more of these. But because you're playing against Gaudi, Gaudi has a fixed number of them. So I'm going to hold off. I'm going to choose that one and that one. So 1 green, 1 red. I'm not going to trigger the scoring. I gain 9 points for the building. So we've got to 41. Is that it? Is that my turn done? I think, I mean, that was a bit complicated and I undid it 5 or 6 times, but I think that's good. Gaudi is at 1 on the multiplier track. That's a good point. That is a good point. But no, I've done it now. I've made my decision. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's not actually that good with Gaudi, with Serda. Right, so let's So maybe I should have scored, but never mind. I've drawn a red and a blue. It is now Gaudi's turn. We're flipping a card over. We are drawing 2 tiles. The arrow is pointing southeast. There's 2 reds. No intersections on the board. Neither of us have built any intersections. If we go the whole game and don't build any intersections, I will explain how they work, because they're really interesting in the way that they change the way that the board works. So, he wants to go there. Can't go there. What about here? If he goes there, can he build? Yes. So he does. He goes there. Nice and easy. Right. Actions. He's placing a large street, a wide street. Adjacent. Can't place it adjacent. So it's going to go 2 spaces away, starting with here and going clockwise. I think it's there. Yeah, in fact, it's 2 spaces away that have the most bonuses. And that's there. This is 2 spaces away and has the most bonuses. So it goes there, which is 2 gold, which is 8 points. And another 2 for the street. Okay? Then it's moving 1 up on the Basilica track, which is another 4 points. I'm still ahead. But he hasn't built yet. So now he's about to build. So let's have a look at the viable building locations, because we have a few. Could build a corner building here. Could upgrade this one. Could upgrade this one. Could upgrade... No, can't upgrade that one. No, can't upgrade that one. So we're looking at upgrading either that one or that one. They're both adjacent to the meeple. The arrow is pointing down clockwise from there. This is the one that gets upgraded. So he builds that. He moves 1 up on his Basilica track, which is 4 points. That goes on using these 2 reds. I stay on the bottom of the stack. He goes on top. That moves him up 1. Ah, rats. Those citizens go on there, and he scores another 9 points. 52. We still haven't scored. It still hasn't scored. Okay. Right. Is that it? I think that's it. We did his action. We did his building. So it's my go. We are so close to triggering the second scoring. In fact, I'm pretty sure the second scoring is going to trigger now, which is fine. Have I run out of steam? I said to Vicky, don't worry, I'll only be about an hour and a half. Yeah. Right. Choices. We want to stay at the top. And yeah, if I build a building now and I use a blue and a green citizen to cover up those 2 spaces, I score 12 points for the building. Yep. So is there anywhere that we can go where we can build with a blue and a green? No, there isn't, because I've got a blue and a red. There's only 1 green citizen on the board, and that cannot be used to build... Well, I can. I could build a blue building. It might actually be worth it. It moves me 2 spaces down on the multiplier, which means I lose... yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I lose 4 points. It's 8. No, I lose 8 points, but I probably gain more by doing it. So it's probably worth it. I think we're going to do it, he says. And I also want discs on the bottom of a stack. That's the other thing that I want as well. Because a disc on the bottom of a stack is worth an extra 6 points to me at the end of the game. Right. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go indeed? I can't really get another passenger out. I know I can't do that because the next passenger is going to cost me 2 cloth. I don't have 2 cloth, and I can't see any way that I can get 2 cloth except by building that building, which costs 3 gold, and I don't have 3 gold. So, do I want to do the big overbuild and really upset Serda just before the scoring. Oh. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. No, because building comes afterwards. I had a plan. My cunning plan was to take the cobblestone action and put the cobblestone there and get 2 up with Serda. The problem is you do that before the building happens. I think I'm going to do it. Yeah, check what you will get from Sagrada. Yeah. It's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it. So we're going to do it. It's just where we're placing these. And I think it's going to be here. No, because that's already maximum. So it's got to be here. We could build an intersection. Yay! We've not done that yet. It could be an intersection. And it could be another public building. Has it got to be here? No, it could be here. Or it could be here. Here's good. Yeah, I think there's good. Okay, so that's where we're going. The 2 actions I'm doing are that one and that one. And these are both relatively easy actions. One of them is gain a cloth and gain 3 points. And the other one is take my final cobblestone and I'm going to put it on the taking an objective space. And I'm going to take this one because I've just noticed how many points it's worth. And it goes there and it costs me a coin. And then we replenish. Right. Okay. So that action's done. That action is done. My actions are over. I am now constructing a building. And it's going to be a blue one. And it's going to be here. So I'm going to use this blue citizen, this green citizen, and this red citizen. One of each. Who live in harmony. Not so much. Right, so what this gets me is it gets me 7 points. It gets me 2 spaces down on that track, but it gets me 2 Basilica movements, which get me my Sagrada Familiara 2nd level. That goes there. I put that disc on top, which gets me 1 back up. That should go on the bottom. That should go on top. I'm putting these citizens on here. The building that I've just built is worth another 12 points. Did I get my cloth and the 3 points? I think I took my cloth and the 3 points. I think I did. And now I get a level 2 tile. Which one do we want? Let's take that one. It's 5 points. And either a gold or a cloth. Let's take a cloth. Okay. Scoring. Yep. Scoring, because we've reached the end here, so we do all of the scoring stuff. So it is 2 points per passenger multiplied by that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 passengers on the board. So it's 8 points multiplied by 3 is 24. 24 plus 68 is 92. Gaudi gets treated as having 3 passengers. So it's 6 points multiplied by 2, 12. You loser. There you go. Right. These reset. We shuffle the cards. We remove the 4 objectives. We get 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. The objective pile is empty, so we shuffle the ones that have been removed. We make a new stack. Okay. Use the Sagrada tile first. Okay. There wasn't a Sagrada tile with Serda on it. Oh, he did sorry, he did times 4, not times 3. So what was it that he got? It was 8 multiplied by 2. It should have been 16 instead of... Hang on. He had 4 of them, so it's 8, 2. It should have been 16, and I gave him 12. So he's owed 4 points. I keep forgetting I'm playing on hard mode. Yeah. Yeah, so what Michael's saying is that some of these Sagrada tiles actually move you up on that track. And if there was one available, then yeah, I could have done that, moved up, and I would have got a lot more points. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And thank you, Matt. I was waiting for somebody to make a Vital Lacerda joke. You've done it in a very clever way, as usual. Who triggered the scoring? I triggered the scoring. So it's now Gaudi's turn. Right, and we're into the final stage now. And this could speed along. I mean, there's lots of citizens on the board, so it could fly by this third stage. We have a blue and a green. The card we have is that. So where's the meeple going to go? Again, we still know things. Can it build if it goes there? Yes. Okay, so it will. There you go. Easy. Can it build if it goes there? Yeah, of course it can. Will it build if it goes there? Who knows? Right, the actions. 1 up on the Basilica track. 4 points. This gets improved, which again is not going to do it anything because it's only got 1 objective. So that's its actions done, and then it builds. So let's have a look at building opportunities. I'm only seeing this one. This is the only building opportunity that I'm seeing. No, it could build here. We've got a blue and a red. It can upgrade this. Yeah, so that's what it does. It upgrades that to one with 3 sides using the blue and the red citizen. So it moves 1 up on its Basilica track, which is 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't move down. That flips over. That goes on there. It puts a disc on there, which moves it 1 up on here. It puts these pieces on there. That goes on there. That goes on there. And it gets 12 points. 88. It's so close, isn't it? But I think end game scoring... I think I've got it in the end of game scoring at the moment, but who knows what's going to happen next. Right, I think that is Gaudi's turn done. I forgot to draw my 2 tiles at the end of my last turn because I got so excited. Okay, so my go. The third and final scoring tile is for having these objectives. I have 2 of them, and this one's really good for me, and this one's not bad as well. But can we get another one? I mean, we can just take one. Yeah, we could just absolutely just take it and put it there and then just try and get loads of gold. Where's the taking the objective? Oh, it's here. It's on the diagonal. Right. Nice. So we don't want to do any more passengers because they're really expensive. And this is where I need to make so many decisions. Which action do I want to do? This is the action I want to do. But to do this action, I need to place it on the diagonal, which is going to cost me money. So do I want to go there, which means that will be a wasted action? Or do I want to go there, which means I could do that? But I don't want to because I want to put the objective there. I can't place the cobblestone, so that's not good. I can't go there because there's already people there. And I can't do that because I can't do the tram action. And I could do that. Well, there you go. But if I do that, then I don't have the money to be able to put it where I want to put it. Wow. Okay. Other options. Other options are available. We could place an intersection. We've not placed an intersection yet. So we could totally do that. And the first intersection is free. and is going to get me a bonus. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go nice and easy, and I'm going to go here. And my two actions are take 2 gold and 2 spaces up the Serta track. That's it. That's my 2 actions. And then my building is going to be... I am going to build here, and it's going to be one of these, which moves me another 1 up the track. It goes there. I put a disc on it. That gives me another 1 up the track. These citizens come off. They go down there, and I score 13 points. 1, 2, 3, 13, 205. And that is my go done. Quick turn. Right, Gaudi. Probably only a couple of turns left now, I think. Gaudi's drawn a red and a green. And we're going to flip the card over. Yes, we're doing it right, aren't we? So where's he going to move his meeple? Again, no intersections. So he wants to go here. If he goes here, can he build? Yes, he can. So he goes there, places the 2 citizens. He's doing an intersection action. Hey! So intersections. The way that those work is that you place them, and you place them left to right, and human players have to pay. First one's free. And you place them on any of these intersections. Now, when an intersection has been placed, you immediately get all of the bonuses from the adjacent streets that are still visible as a placement bonus. But then what happens is any time any player, including you, goes on one of your intersections, you get a bonus. And if you're a human player, then if you've got 1 out, you get a coin. If you've got 2 out, you either get a coin or 2 points. If you've got 3 out, you get any 2 of those rewards. And the rewards get better the more of these intersections you have out. But what the intersections do is they change the dynamics of the board and how it gets played. Anyway, he's placing an intersection. So he places it. Let me just check this. I think it's wherever he's going to get the most bonuses from. One of the street crossings adjacent to his meeple, never build underneath his meeple, the one that wards in the most benefits. So let's have a look at the board. If he was to build it here, he would get this 1 benefit, which is 3 points. Any benefit that's been covered over, you don't get. So if he went there, he'd get 1 benefit. If he went there, he'd get 1 benefit. There would be 1 benefit. There would be no benefits. There would be that benefit. There would be no benefits, and there would be no benefits. So we use the arrow, and it's pointing there. So he builds an intersection there, and immediately gets the 3 points. And now what's going to happen on his next turn, he's going to move to there. Because remember, at the start of his turn, he moves, and he always prioritizes his intersections if he's got one on the board. Right. We've done the action. That was quite a simple action. And now we do building. So we've got red and red. We can overbuild here. We can't overbuild here because it's already a 3-sided building. So I think this is the one that's being built, which is here. So it moves up his Basilica track, which is 4 points. He moves down on there, but he doesn't because he cheats. He gets 1 and 1. That goes there. Disc goes on the board. That's his final disc. Moves 1 up on there. The 2 red citizens go there and there. That nearly triggered the end of the game. So close. 14 points. Look how close this is on points. Wow. Right. Now, if I end the game, Gaudi's going to get another turn because you always play an equal number of turns. But if I trigger the end of the game, I'm going to get this now. The scoring happens at the end of the turn. The game will happen. The game will end at the end of the round. So I think this is my last turn. And I've got to build a building because a building is worth 14 points. And that's huge. Right. I think I can upgrade this. It's been upgraded from a 2 to a 3, and now I think I can upgrade it to a 4. And no, I can't, because there's no blue. No! There's only one blue on the board, and it's up there, and there's nobody else there, so I can't build a blue building. Why? Right. So, instead, how are we going to get Basilica movements? I don't think I can. Not 2 of them, anyway. How much money have I got? Okay. So I could get loads and loads of cloth. If I wanted to. I wanted to take an objective, didn't I? That's what I was going to do last turn, and I didn't. Maybe I do it this turn. Can I afford it now? I think I can. I do need 4 cloth somehow. I'm not going to get that, am I? But there's some objectives there that are quite nice. That one for corner buildings is not good for me because I've only got 1 of them. Maximum gold. Okay, well, it's going to cost me a gold to take it, but then I can get gold back somehow. But if I... where can I build? The problem is if I go here, I can't build. That's painful decisions. So... corner building. People are saying corner building. Which one? Which corner building? I've got so many choices here. I kind of want to take a 3rd end of game scoring objective because that's what this is. But I don't think I'm going to be able to take one. Oh, you can build where I showed. If I went here, could I build? I mean, I can upgrade this to a red one. Yeah, I'm not sure. There is a few seconds delay in the chat, but if I go here with red, I can upgrade that one. But it doesn't boost that objective. So if I went here, I could build here. But again, that's not helping me for that objective. I have a feeling, and the reason why I'm agonizing on this is I have a feeling this might be a really important decision. So yeah, so I can build a building on these, but building a building on these corner buildings here is not going to help me with this objective. So that's 6 points lost if I do that. But I don't think I can build a building anywhere else. So it might have to be that. And if we do that, what else do I want to do? Because if I am going to take an objective, I could take the objective that gives me points for gold. Even though I'm spending a gold to get there. No, I can't go there. So it would be here. That would be a large street. That's 8 points. It's more than 8 points. Yeah, okay. I think we're doing it. But that's the tram. Have I got enough to do the tram? I have. I could do my extra passenger. I'd have no gold. We'll take a different objective. Okay, we got it sorted. I think, yes, I'm going there. And I'm going to trigger the end of the game. Right. Decision made. For now. I'm going there and I'm going there. The first action I'm going to do is I'm going to place a large, wide street. It's going to go there, which gets me 8 points. Okay. That's that action done.
It also makes this objective better. My second action is the tram. Oh, I forgot to pay the coin. That's fine. I paid the coin. Second objective is the tram. Now, placing my final passenger is 2 gold and 2 cloth. And I'm doing this as well. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing that as well. So 2 gold and 2 cloth for my final passenger. Now, where's this going? Because this could get me stuff. It could get me 2 gold. I could place another large street. And a large street would get me 2 gold. Okay. Sure. I mean, I can pretty much do anything. Because I've got purple streets all the way down there, all the way down there. And you don't pay movement points to move on your streets. I mean, I could go here, but then I wouldn't get the points for that. No. We are going to send thy tram. Oh, I've just noticed. Okay, we're going to send the tram here. And we're going to drop a passenger off here. That passenger dropping off on that street gets me 8 points. Because that street is worth 8 points. Then I get the bonus of that column is I'm going to place an intersection. And my first intersection is free. And this really doesn't matter. Because, oh no, it does, because I'm going to put it there. Oh, look at that. So you know I said when you place an intersection, you get all the bonuses around it. That's 6 points for putting that intersection there. Sweet 6 points. Right. So have we done it right? I did the tram action. I moved to there. I dropped the passenger off. I got 8 points. I did the intersection action, which I took off there. I put there. That got me 6 points. I've then got this action. And I take, well, that's worth the most. And I put it there for free. Okay, done. Actions finished. I now build and trigger the end of the game by building a corner building, either there or there. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to build it there using that citizen and that citizen. Triggers the end of the game. I get 14 points. 1, 2, 3, 14. Right. So I'm not even going to bother taking my new 2 tiles. Now, there is a rule that I read this afternoon, which is if you cause the end of the game, which I did, Gaudi plays 1 last turn. But on this turn, he prioritizes constructing a building. So instead of the normal rules where he would go here, he prioritizes building a building. So he selects a different street than normal. So on the final turn, when he would have gone to his intersection, I need to put my counter on the building. Thank you. Which means I need to move 1 more up there. So his 2 tiles are blue and blue. We flip that over. So the arrow is pointing down. Can he build a building if we place them there? No. What about there? No. What about there? No. Oh, scoring. Yes, we need to do the scoring. Hang on, I'll get back to that in a minute. What about there? No. What about there? Nope. There? Nope. Right. So I think no matter where he goes to, I don't think he can build. Apparently he could on the left. Could he? I'm not seeing it. Where can he build? Here. Because that's already taken. Can't build there. So to build on the corner spaces, you need... This one over here can't build over here. You mean top corner there? Can he build? Oh, yeah, he can go there and then build there. Right, okay. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the scoring. So let's do my scoring. I've done this 3 times. It's 2 points, so that's 6. Multiplied by 3, I get 18. 59. Gaudi
It's 2 multiplied by 4. I got it right this time. 8 times 2, 16. 16. 1 plus 15. So we did the scoring. Now we're doing the final turn of the game. He moves to there. He places them there. And he's doing this. He's taking a public services building. So he takes the most expensive one from left to right. He gets that. He gets the 10 points. He moves 2 up on this track. But then he doesn't do the action that's printed on it. Instead, he flips another card and does that action instead, which is this. And it's the Basilica track, if it's available, which is 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all of his actions done. And he then builds a corner building here. Corner building there. Doesn't put a disc on it because he hasn't got any discs left. These two go on here. That goes there. That goes there. He gets 14 points. And the game is over. The game is afoot. And we now score. Final scoring. So, on your warehouse, you score the rightmost number based on how many cobblestone tiles you've removed. So I score 16. Lacerda scores 2. Then, passengers. So we do the same thing for the passengers. I score the rightmost visible number. So I score 23. Gaudi scores 1. Is it 1? Yes, 1. So I score 23. Gaudi scores 1. And then we do objectives. So let's go through the objectives. This one for me is 2 points for each of my narrow streets that is connected together in the longest continuous road. I have 4 narrow streets in a row. So that is 8 points multiplied by 1 is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 8. This one is the same for the wide streets. So that's 8 points multiplied by 2 is 16. So let's put 1 and then 5, 10, 15. Have I just gone round again? I have. So I should be on 300 now. And then my final objective is 2 points per disc on the bottom of a stack, which is 1, 2, 3, not counting the corners, 4, 5. So that's 10 multiplied by 3 is 30. Wow. And then Gaudi scores 2 points per cobblestone, which is 2. Oh, no, he doesn't. No. He scores... I got this wrong last time. Let me just get this right. He scores victory points for the number of cobblestone tiles removed, number of passengers, but he ignores the scoring condition on this tile. It's just times 4. So it's 2 times 4, which is 8, times 2, which is 16. And I think that's it. That is it. Now, I think I played brilliantly. I'm going to pat myself on the back there. That was a tough challenge, but I did win quite convincingly. So, yes, it was only times 2, not times 3. There are ways you can make it more difficult. So what you could do is you could start the game with Gaudi's first intersection tile, cobblestone tile, and passenger removed from the player board. So you can start off by removing some things to make it even harder. You can also play with the rule that when Gaudi takes the improved modernism project space, he removes the rightmost instead of the leftmost marker from that as well, which would have moved that up instead of that one. Because one of the things that I noticed in this game is I think I got lucky in a way, because what Gaudi did, he improved these 4 objective spaces, but never actually took an objective. And that was a bit lucky, really. So he takes the objectives from right to left, but he improves them from left to right. So essentially that was 4 wasted actions that he took. He improved that one, that one, that one, and that one, none of which did anything. If he'd have taken an objective and put it here, it would have been worth like 2, 8, 24 points. So yeah, that's interesting the way that works. yeah, I did get a bit lucky on that. But yeah, what a thinky solo game. Now, before I disappear, this was a sponsored video, so I'm not going to share my, obviously, my honest thoughts on the game. I will talk about them on my Patreon supporter Slack channel tonight. You can probably guess what I think just from how much I've enjoyed this playthrough. But what I will say is that I have my own thoughts on complexity of solo games. I have my own rating scale on a 1 to 10 of how complex a solo mode is. And beyond a certain level, I'm not comfortable with it. I will tell you that the solo mode for this game is at my limit of complexity with the solo mode. A lot of it is easy. A lot of it is you flip a card over, you do the action, but it's the movement of the meeple, which it took me a couple of games to get used to. And I think with help from Danny in the chat tonight and other people, I think we got it right. I think we played it right. And there's a lot of people who play far more complex solo games than I do. So yeah, Mark is asking, is it a 6 out of 10? Possibly. I mean, I'm not talking rating of the game. I'm talking the complexity of the solo mode. For me, it's probably a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. And that is my comfort level. Anything beyond that, and I start not enjoying the game because I spend too much time thinking about what the AI would do. But yeah, I was able to handle it with a little bit of help from the chat. The rulebook's really good. I can tell you this objectively. The rulebook is well written and it is fairly clear. The only bit that caught me out is where I thought it was going to go 2 away because there was nowhere that it could build within 1. But that's not true. It only goes 2 away if there's nowhere it can build within 1 and they are all your intersections, at which point none of them are legal and it will go somewhere else. So that caught me out. How did this game play differently from the game this afternoon? Very differently. So the 3 scoring tiles here will give you direction, will give you something to aim for. But I took a completely different approach in this game. I decided I wanted to do passengers because that was here. If that wasn't here, I might not have done any passengers whatsoever. Also, these objectives. The fact that the objective came out and I got these 2 objectives. Now, this objective was for your longest wide street. Boom, there you go. This one was for your longest narrow street. Boom. And this is, I think, the 2-player game. In a 2-player game, you have a lot less competition for the board, so you are able to set up these routes. But I'll tell you this, if you were playing this with another real player, that real player, as soon as you've put 3 down, will probably grab that last space, because that last space is worth 8 points. And what that means is that not only have you been stifled from getting the 8 points for completing it, but if you've got the objective for your longest street, that doesn't count. And if you remember back, because I was doing a lot of my passenger actions, every single time I put a passenger here, 4 points, 4 points, 4 points, 4 points, 8 points. So I was getting a huge amount of points for placing passengers on my streets where I had the absolute monopoly of that. So yeah, I think that's why I played well today. I played to my strengths. I got the objectives that were really good for me. I focused on these. I concentrated on building the green buildings. I didn't do much on this track, but that got my favour up, which meant the multipliers came in and I was getting a lot of points from them. And also, yeah, I was combining the passengers with the streets and everything else. Wow. Yeah, just before I go, one more thing. I am wearing today the 24-hour Games Marathon t-shirt, and the reason why is starting tomorrow morning. Well, in fact, it's actually started tonight, but tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock, there is a 24-hour board gaming charity event. It's happening in Ilminster, which is in Somerset. I'm going to be heading over there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I won't be staying the full 24 hours. I'm too old to be able to do that these days. But I will be there all day Saturday, and they're going to be raising money for charity. So I'm going to just post. I'm going to do a quick post in the chat right now for, if I've copied it correctly. No, that's the wrong link. Bear with us a minute. I will get this because they have a Just Giving page and they are raising money for charity. And it's a friend of mine and a Patreon supporter, Dan, who is organising all of this, and he'll be there right now. and there is the link in the chat. So I'm going to be there tomorrow, and I'm going to be donating probably about £500 because, as a lot of you know, all of my advertising revenue goes to charity. So not just from this video, but all of my advertising revenue from all of my videos always goes to charity. And I'm going to be making a donation of £500 myself tomorrow to raise money for a good cause. So that's happening tomorrow. And if you happen to be in the Somerset area tomorrow and you wanted to call in and play some games, yeah, that is happening tomorrow. So that's where I'm going to be tomorrow. But other than that, we are done for tonight. Big thank you to everybody who's joined me live in the chat. A big thank you again to Danny. As I say, Danny's been with me all of yesterday and all of today, helping me out, learning this game, and I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. So yeah, thank you very much to you. And a big thank you to Board and Dice for sponsoring the video, and a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for funding the channel. As I mentioned at the start, I do rely on the support of the Patreon campaign to keep the channel going, and if you are a Patreon supporter, you get exclusive access to a lot of behind-the-scenes videos, such as me learning how to play this for the last 2 days. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I will pop on the Slack channel. I will give you my thoughts on it for my Patreon supporters, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.